Now, after that awkward rendition, it's time for a recap. I'm going to lay out a spoiler warning here. What's going to happen here is I'm going to recap the two-parter ender finale because I was vague in the last review. Here I'm going to be specific and tell you what's going to happen, and then we're going to get into the rest of the stuff. So, Bad Wolf, Parting of the Ways. It basically starts us off. Everyone's separated. Doctor, Rose, and Jack Harkness, who I hadn't mentioned, but he's a part of the group. No big deal. They are trapped in game shows. Try to wrap your head around that one. These game shows include The Weakest Link, What Not to Wear, and Big Brother. And it's a nice shout out to what our culture is, but at the same time, something's amiss. Like, everyone knows that there's something wrong, but the people that surround the situation have no idea what's going on. They just realize that this is a game, they have to deal with it, and they play. As they play, they find themselves getting incinerated as they lose. Okay, what's up with this? You find out that it's all the Daleks who are at play here. They're the puppeteers. So the Doctor tricks Rose, brings her back home, and gives her no way of coming back. The Doctor, however, is still trying to make this pulse beacon type thing. Eventually, Rose does find a way back. She absorbs the time vortex in the TARDIS, comes back, and just wreaks havoc on all the Daleks. She disintegrates them and ends up bringing Jack back to life because he ended up dying. The Doctor takes Rose, absorbs that time vortex into himself, and then they go off into the sunset, so to speak, and leaving Jack behind at that satellite, which was a little dickish, not gonna lie. The Doctor and Rose, they're in the TARDIS, you know, they reconciling what just happened and then trying to figure out what to do next, and suddenly the Ninth Doctor is like, yeah, so by the way, I wasn't meant to do that, what I just did, you know, the time vortex and all that stuff. The energy is killing me inside and out, so I'm not gonna see you again. Well, not with this face. So, I'll see you later. And then, boom, Eccleston is gone, and in steps David Tennant. So, in Series 2 territory, immediately after all of that, Doctor takes Rose home. And as soon as he does, he just collapses. And he's like, just in a catatonic state because he's suffering from his regeneration cycle. Something's happening to him, and he can't handle all that energy that's happening. So it's like, oh, what does Rose do now? Everything's kind of now come back to normal, sort of. Jackie and Mickey, they're kind of reconciling with Rose, and, you know, it's like, okay, so what's going on? Like, who is this guy? What you've been doing? How have you been? Things like that. It's just crazy, and things are a little bit towards the normal side. Or is it? The new Prime Minister is launching a new satellite and is going into space, and that, of course, is a bad thing. Which, in turn, turns out to be a couple of things, actually. One, that satellite contained more information than it needed to for these creatures called the Sycorax to come by and be like, oh, hey, you want to communicate? Let's enslave you. Not to mention they're there for the Doctor as well. Half the time the Doctor's on his back trying to recover while Rose is actually trying to be in the forefront and figure out what the hell to do. Despite this being the first episode for David Tennant and also being the Christmas special, which is not a part of the initial series itself, it still counts, and it's actually a pretty damn good one. So we have Christmas Invasion, New Earth being the technical first episodes for David Tennant, and then the rest, what would the Doctor be without his foes, though? Let me just say, we gotta cover it. So beyond Sycorax and cats, Christmas Invasion and New Earth, we have like these weird bat-like creatures that are trying to actually find the secret code to the universe, ticking clocks that are in forms of men and stuff that don't. Cybermen. Now, this is a very interesting one to describe. Best put, people died in a metal suit, emotionless. You'll have to find out. This one's interesting, like TV sucking people's faces off. Not sure else how to put that. An assumption of Satan himself, or maybe it's just a creature, I don't know, but this one's very interesting, in a very intense episode too. An absorbing creature. Now this one's pretty interesting. It absorbs the bodies of people and their faces appear on the creature. A little girl that actually can draw things and trap you inside the drawing. And to a finale that I will not spoil, but it really features two foes that are very popular, and they are together and they're awesome, and it's an emotional finale. There. It's time for the best and worst. For the best, School Reunion actually really holds the best nostalgic value in old viewers for Classic Who and also for the newcomers. It really expands the universe as well as the continuation, and it's a great nod, a nostalgic nod no less. Girl in the Fireplace is probably one of my favorites by far. It has a bit of a timey-wimey aspect where the Doctor takes Mickey and Rose to a spaceship that's broken down and there's no crew to be found. As they explore this place, they find a fireplace that has a little girl on the other side. It's funny, it's heartwarming, and it's definitely sad as well. As for the worst, as I'll always say, they're not the worst episodes, but they didn't do anything for me. The Idiot's Lantern is actually not my favorite, sorry to say. It's not the greatest one, it's still watchable, it's one of the funner ones, but it's definitely not one that you could say, character development was so good. Not really. So thus we come to the finale, and the finale is definitely one of the more powerhouse kind of ones. When I told you that about the two icons that clash, the Doctor's in the middle of it, actually a plot element of Torchwood's in it. Sorry to say, this is Rose Tyler's last full appearance. This really messes the Doctor up. Will I get into it? Next episode. Definitely. And it's a lot of nods to what had happened thus far in the series itself. It's a lot of nods as to what it's trying to accomplish, and it's great stuff. In the end, I would say Doctor Who Series 2 gets a A-. That is the end of my review of Series 2, guys. I hope you've really enjoyed. If I was too vague for you, don't worry, I will get into specifics in the beginning of next episode. And those are my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.